How to handle small sample size breakouts. Players who just got some playing time and are looking good, but how do you know whether it's for real or for fake? This question actually came from subscriber Kincaid8234, specifically asking about JJ Bleday, who we will get to. But subscribe to this channel if you want to win your fantasy baseball leagues. We use all the StatCast data that we can to help you win. We're in the golden age of data that managers have available at their fingertips, and managers who use it will beat managers who don't. So what we're going to do is when you come to StatCast in Baseball Savant, they usually have it defaulted to minimum or qualified hitters for balls in play, since the StatCast measures balls in play. So I like to do at this time of year, because you can see all the players who have, really almost 100 or so balls in play because they've been playing most of the season. You can change it to a lot lower. So let's drop it to 25, because some players just came up. They may have only a few balls in play. And today we'll just focus on those players with really low balls in play. And you can see JJ Bleday pops in. So with only 48 balls in play that StatCast can measure, he would be the number 2 overall player in baseball behind Yordan Alvarez, ahead of Judge and Rice, just slightly, in expected weighted on base average. So let's take a look at him and see if you should grab him for your teams. And actually, so far, the StatCast data looks quite good. It actually looks like it supports his. Look at this data. Even though what I love about Baseball Savant is it shows you that if you're just searching guys, it's not in dark red. It's in this kind of light red, which shows you that it is not full qualified data. So it is not totally validated, under with a huge sample size. So be careful how you use it. However, everything looks amazing, off the charts for him. So we have this debate. We have JJ Bleday available on a lot of waiver wires. I know he's been a hot commodity who's looking solid. What do I do in my different leagues? We need to know about your league and how much urgency that you have. So if you are in a head-to-head league that really can ride the hot hand and you need to win week to week, I think someone picking up like JJ Bleday makes perfect sense, because whether it fades or not, you really don't care, because you need him to win right now, and then you'll figure it out later down the road. However, that's why head-to-head leagues, you're really driven by, let me go back to this data, you're really driven by weighted on-base average. What is actually happening right now? Who is actually performing? When you do that, JJ Bleday does number 1 overall, even though it looks like he's getting a tad lucky versus expected weighted on-base average, which is still phenomenal. But if you're in a rotisserie league, you tend to live in the expected weighted on-base average, because whether someone gets lucky for part of the year or unlucky part of the year, goes hot and cold, you really don't care, as long as their batting ball profile looks like it's heading to some kind of positive result that you would expect to have, right? Over the long season, that luck will kind of average out, and you'll kind of get the expected weighted on base average results. And then how do we assess this? So for JJ Bleday, we can see his StatCast data does look fantastic. So if you are in a head-to-head league, I would certainly try to jump on him, ride the hot hand as long as you can. If you are in a rotisserie league, something where you can just look at year-round stats, it's still probably worth grabbing. But a lot of the comments that I get and questions from subscribers to this channel is, should I drop XYZ player for him now, and stuff like that, right? And you need to assess. Obviously, there are so many injuries out there right now. If you have an injury list that you can put someone on for a while and you get a free roster space, you should be picking up JJ Bleday everywhere. But it is more trickier if you're like, well, should I cut one of my current starters who are really cold, and what does it look like? And that's where it gets a little more tricky, because we don't have a ton of data. The data does suggest, yes, the hot streak that he is on right now is fully supported by his StatCast data. Look at this: 470 xWOBA, 331 expected batting average, 670 slugging, barrel rate of 14.6%, hard hit rate 56%. Bat speed looks good. He's not chasing too badly, 20.9%. He's not striking out, and he's walking a ton. Everything looks absolutely amazing. You should probably grab him, and if you have someone that you really don't mind parting with, then you could probably want to gamble on him for longer than just now, because I do like hitters in the Cincinnati ballpark, especially as it starts to get warm up. It's one of the highest ballpark factors for home runs, and Bleday actually had 2 home runs in a game recently. So now let's take a look and down the road. What's the worries if you are in a rotisserie league long term? And the worries are that his barrel rate, while amazing at 14.6 now, is almost double what his career average is of 8.2. So JJ Bleday, for his entire career, you can see it up here, only has a 723 career on base percentage, through 1,400 at bats. So he hasn't been amazing. He was a highly touted prospect several years ago around pandemic time. However, drafted 2019, first round, number 4 by the Marlins out of Vanderbilt. So he doesn't have an amazing track record. So unless we can find that something he has changed in his swing or something he's improved that is leading to this, then it might just be a hot streak. And you can ride a hot streak in both, rotisserie and head-to-head for a while, and then make some pivots later on. So I think what we'd want to see is say, yes, you should be grabbing him everywhere you can if he's available, even if you may have to cut someone that you're okay cutting with. Obviously don't cut, just a super cold stud like maybe Tati Jr. or something like that. But we need to watch this because his barrel rate is double his historical averages. His expected slugging is way higher his historical averages. His weighted on base average is higher. His hard hit rate is 56%. His career is 37%. Strikeout rate's really low. Walk rate's really high. That's kind of the inverse of what he's been doing historically. So I think this is something we need to watch out. Of course, some guys are late bloomers like Justin Turner and so forth. So JJ Bleday is someone you may want to pick up, but I can't tell you the data supports what he's doing right now, and we hope it continues for another month or so, but we can't say whether it's going to last because obviously at some point pitchers are going to start making some adjustments because he is doing too much damage to not be looked at by any scouting department that comes in. So let's keep looking down here and see who else. So Michael Conforto is coming back from injury. With only 34 balls in play, he looks pretty solid so far with a 449 weighted on base average, 420 expected. So that does look like his data is fairly well supported. If you need some help in your outfield, playing for the Cubs right now, and also kind of like JJ Bleday, obviously a little higher strikeout rate and whiff rate, but everything looks super solid. He's coming in on a hot streak. You can see past 100 plate appearances, how his ex-Woba has been doing since obviously really beginning of May. So Michael Conforto, let's say you're in your league and say, oh man, someone already grabbed JJ Bleday. If Conforto's available anywhere, you may want to pick him up and see if you can grab him for a while, because this data does also look currently supported. His career OPS is a little bit better than JJ Bleday's. That's 788. I've always liked him for on-base percentage. His career on-base percentage is 344 as someone who lives in on-base percentage leagues. But he's always had, decent power. He had 20 home runs as recently as 2024. So he's someone that might be able to be a sneaky ad if, the hot hand like JJ Bleday is already gone in your leagues. Let's keep scrolling down. You got Jared Kelenic popping up for the White Sox. His current, this is an interesting one, his current weighted on base average is 322, but his expected is 420. So he is getting quite unlucky right now, and he's expected to outperform. So this might be a sneaky one that you can add. Certainly you got to watch with the high whiff and strikeout rate. That's kind of been an issue for him throughout his career. So far he's batting 237, but his expected batting average is a solid 294, but just based on how he's hitting the ball. So he might be a sneaky ad if either of those first two options are gone, because he does have a high walk rate right now. And now again, someone with a career 658 OPS, the question is, how long is this going to last? Is this just a hot start and then the league's going to adjust and he's going to come back to his career averages? That's hard to say, but the small sample size that he has is actually saying he is getting a little bit unlucky versus what he should be doing. His expected slugging is 603 and it's currently 342. So maybe this is one to just keep an eye on. I don't know if people are going to be running out and grabbing Jared Kelenic. They've been burned by him so many times that maybe just put him on your watch list. See how he does in the next few games. See if he is actually starting to get the results for how he's hitting the ball, or if he starts following his old habits and maybe striking out a little too much for your taste. Paul Goldschmidt is, getting a little bit of playing time. He's really been serving as kind of backup to Ben Rice on his days off, or sometimes versus lefties and stuff like that. You may want to take on him. Luke Raley's one has always been interesting. He's been really near the top of the ex-Woba chart for almost the entire season. He also, doesn't play a lot, but his top half here, what I call kind of the hitting engine, is super solid, super elite. 618, a 99th percentile expected slugging, 99th percentile barrel rate, 98th percentile hard hit rate, 90th percentile bat speed. But down here at the bottom, you do have, close to an average, a little bit too high of a chase rate, terrible strikeout rate, terrible walk rate. So that's why his career OBP is 321. So in an OBP league, he may not help you a whole lot. But if you're looking for a little bit of cheap power, so far he's got 10 home runs on this season and 920 OPS. He's someone I've been staring at for a long time. He's still honestly sitting on my waiver wire in my league. But if someone were to get hurt, I actually have Acuna right now. But if someone else were to get injured, I may grab him and see if I can ride him for a little while, because you can see his xwOBA is looking pretty solid. He was above 400 in early April, had a little bit of dip, and now he's coming back right now. So Luke Raley is someone who you might be able to pick up on your waiver wires and help your league, even though he may not always have play full time. Randal Grichuk, so the Chicago White Sox are just bringing back all the old names, Kelenic, Grichuk, and stuff like that. Let's look at him. His StatCast data also looks pretty solid so far, even though it says he's getting unlucky with a 224 batting average, 740 OPS, kind of in line with his career 763 OPS. He's not walking right now. He does strike out in average or below average. He does chase a little too much, but he does hit the ball really hard. He's got 3 home runs so far and 49 at-bats. This may be another case of someone you just add to your watch list, and if an injury pops up, you grab them and just test it out and see how long you can ride it out, and just really just observe whether this true expected weighted on base average does manifest versus what he's doing. It says he should have a 311 batting average versus the 224 that he has, so he should be starting to have some solid games if he continues hitting the ball like he is right now. It suggests that he's just getting a little bit unlucky so far, but let's put him on the watch list and see if that comes true. Scrolling down a little bit more, we have Sam Antonacci. He was a big pickup recently for the White Sox. Man, their entire team, they're an interesting younger team. Looks like they have some of those post-hype prospects with Kelenic and Grichuk as well too. But with a lot of their young players that they have, I love Colson Montgomery, who I have on that team. He also currently has an expected batting average of 326, a little bit higher than his 279. 382 on base percentage, which is really great considering his walk rate's only 6.9%. But he does have a great slugging percentage, great launch angle sweet spot, pretty average exit velocity, above average barrel rate. I love the fact he doesn't chase, he doesn't whiff, and he doesn't strike out, so he's making good contact. So that's someone who may be able to help you out. I don't know if he's going to have, because of that exit velocity, if you need power and home runs, I'd look at those previous guys we were talking about, because that's really not part of his game. If you need some stolen bases, he might be able to help you out there, because he's 77th percentile in sprint speed. I personally try not to have a lot of my stolen bases come from my outfield, because I like to reserve that for the top end power of the baseball league. I love middle infielders who can contribute stolen bases. I say that as someone who's starting Chandler Simpson and Jacob Marcy almost every day, because I need the stolen bases from there. But especially with Acuna injured right now. But if you can avoid it, I would try to get my stolen bases from another position like middle infield versus outfielders. But you may always have to have somebody who can contribute as you manage your categories or your week-to-week settings. Let's go down a little bit further. Here's Dane Myers is still hanging out here for the Reds. We talked about him in a previous video as well. His hard hit rate's relatively low, but you can see his xwOBA is looking pretty solid. If you need, again, some outfield help for the Reds, I don't know, with Bleday being so hot, he may not get all the playing time that he had previously, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that situation. But his data does look supported as well. He's batting 238, and it says he got a little unlucky with a 276 batting average. His barrel rate's above average, 12.5%, even though his hard hit rate is below average at 31%. So, but again, a low chase rate, low whiff rate, K rate's pretty average, and a high walk rate. That's something you can deal with if you're looking for recovering from injuries or something like that for your team. Drew Romo, I just can't keep looking at White Sox. The White Sox have so many guys who have just gotten called up and just gotten started. I know here's someone who's been popular off of waivers recently, Ryan Jeffers with the Twins, for people who need help at catcher. If you have some injuries or your catchers are underperform, let's say you have the big dumper out in Seattle and he's not delivering for you and has no home runs. Well, okay, maybe you can pivot to bench him, don't cut him, but then you go to Ryan Jeffers, who has a 90th percentile xwOBA, 486 slugging, from 89th percentile, 15.4% barrel rate. He's not chasing a whole lot, not whiffing a whole lot, and walking a ton. So for a catcher profile, this is absolutely amazing. It says he's getting a little lucky right now with his 286 batting average when 251 is expected, but all the power numbers are right in line. So him delivering 6 home runs for you so far and a 404 on base percentage, that looks pretty solid, that he may be able to continue that. So this is a fantastic waiver pickup for any catchers who have Cal Raleigh and are getting a little bit burnt by using a high draft pick on him as he struggles right now, and hopefully picks it up before the end of the season. Let's see if we can grab another one here. Here's an oldie, but a goodie for me is at least Curtis Mead in the Nationals. The Nationals also are picking up a lot of post prospect hype guys, with Curtis Mead, Joey Weimer, and so forth, and especially with the Nationals not being so great this year. There's a lot of playing time for everybody. I always liked Curtis Mead when he was in Tampa Bay. He is, it says he's getting a little unlucky with a 228 batting average versus a 266 expected, but his career batting average is 236, so you should keep an eye on that. That's been one of his struggles, is the low batting average, low on base percentage, 310 for his career. His walk rate is a super solid 13.9%, so he's a sneaky person who could be good. I know in some leagues he has second base eligibility. I'd prefer that versus first base. I don't think he has an amazing first base profile with only 4 home runs. 3 stolen bases is actually kind of hilarious at first base, but with only 4 home runs and an average exit velocity that's just average, if you can get him at second base, I think I like that profile a lot better. But he doesn't chase, doesn't whiff, doesn't K, great walk rate. All those things look very solid from a contact perspective for someone who can help delivery for your team. And then that's someone you should grab. So this is what I like to do. So if you're looking for this for your team, come to StatCast, change your minimum balls in play to where you'd like it, to find players who are just getting some playing time, and then look at the data and see whether it supports their current breakouts or whether it says that you should kind of stay away or just put them on your watch list. So I hope this helps you adjust and win your fantasy baseball leagues. Subscribe to this channel if you want to win your leagues, and check out this next video because YouTube says this is what you want to watch next.